Yo, what's going on, nephews? It's your Uncle Junior back again for another segment of Ask Your Uncles. I got here with me special guest. We got Uncle Jack on the mic. Uncle Jack, how you doing, bro?
Hi, doing good, man. How you?
Hey, man, I can't complain, man. Living and breathing, bro.
I
Living and
heard that, brother.
breathing. Well, Uncle Jack, like I tell everybody, man, this forum is basically just for our nephews, man. We just want to be able to, steer them in the right direction and give them whatever knowledge that we have available, and hopefully just make ourselves available to answer any questions that they may have in the future and things of that sort. But to get you a little bit more comfortable with the nephews and to make the nephews a little bit more comfortable with you, I just ask that you give us a little background information about you. Let us know about your upbringing and let us know about your upbringing and kind of just see where you like how was your dynamic, growing up. Was it mom and pop, mom, step pop, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Was it just mom? Just give us a little bit about, how your upbringing was like.
Right. Well, when I was born, my mom and my dad was together.
Mm.
But as I got older, I said around 7 or 8, they split up.
Yeah.
Basically because my dad, he drunk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good guy, but he did drink a lot, so it kind of split us up. So I was in the home. Me and my sister was with a single parent, which was my mom.
Yeah.
So she brought us up, man, and but I was still around all my uncles. I was still around all my aunties, all of my family on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So both of my sides were really outgoing.
Mm-hmm.
We have a good time on either side. So that kind of when I was younger, and I saw that it kind of was embedded in me.
Yeah.
So when you have a family like that,
Yeah.
that has a good personality, you know how to laugh, it kind of goes with you as you get older. So as I got older, it stuck with me, man. So I'm more of a funny guy, but I also as I got older, I wanted to reach out to a lot of the young kids too.
Yeah.
And the only way that I could do that is through football, basketball, different kind of stuff like that. So
Yeah.
everything that was embedded in me as far as respect for one thing,
Mm-hmm.
respect your elders, and also have fun. Don't take everything so serious and know how to talk.
Okay.
You don't have to go around with a foul mouth on every word you say. You know what I mean? You got to be. Sometimes you got to be educated in what you say. You can get your point across without being what a lot of these myself, as far as these rappers, these new rappers, or even the old rappers. A
Right.
lot of these young guys coming up, that's what they see, so that's what they think they're gonna get. So as I got older, man, I was like, it's more to it than just sports. It's more to it than just rap. So as I got older, man, I just took what my mom and my aunties and all my uncles mostly
Right.
gave to me, man. So honestly, it made me the guy that I am today. So I'm proud of that.
Okay. And where you say you're from again?
I was born in Evansville, Indiana, but as soon as I was born, we moved to Clarksville, Tennessee. So I was
Okay.
basically, raised in Tennessee.
And where part in Tennessee are you now?
I'm in Springfield, Tennessee now. Been up here for about, I'll say 24, 25 years. Uh, Come up here, man, and I was married. And the first marriage didn't go well, so I got a job for the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've been working with the city now for about 19 years, almost 20 years.
Okay.
So, the majority of me staying up here, I was with the city, so I've been up here ever since.
Okay. Okay. Oh, one sec, man. My plug dropping. Got a little technical difficulty. All right. Yeah, we back in business. Apologize for that. Yeah, but no, and so you said right now you kind of work for the city. Uh and well, let me ask you this now. Was that always the thought process growing up? Like what did the job that you wanted to be when you grew up?
Man, you know what? I really didn't know anything about the city, man. I tell you, I never really, when I was coming up, man, I was more into having a good time than kind of settling in on what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So when I got this job, man, I tell you what, I didn't really want it. It was more of I need some type of job.
Yeah.
But as I got older and I started understanding my job, which is I work in the sewer plant, so I'm a wastewater operator.
Okay. Okay.
So when I got that job and they put me through school,
Yeah.
I started understanding the process of the sewer. You know, the first thing I thought was you flush it and that was it. You
Yeah.
know, but as you working behind the scenes
Yeah.
is where I was
Yeah.
once you start learning how the process of removing sewer from all the creeks and communities, I got real interested in it. So I went through school and I got certified in my, I think it was my third or fourth year.
Right.
And they give you a total of 5 years to get certified. If not, you're fired. So
Okay.
I did it in, I think, 3.5 because I went to a lot of schooling.
Right.
And every year you go to a school, it knocks down
Yeah.
those years. So I took it and got my grade 4. And now I work in the lab department. I've been in the lab department for about 10 years, I guess.
Right.
And what I do is I change sewer water
Mm.
and industrial waters and dirty water and sewer water to clean drinking water and
Right.
to clean creek water.
Right.
So, you know, like I said, when I had that job, I really didn't care about that, man. But once I started learning and understanding and reading and going through school, man, I got real interested. So I figured out this is what I needed, you know what I mean? And now this is what I love, you know.
Right.
This is something
Right.
that you know a lot of people don't get to do, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, we get every disease known to man,
Right.
you know, for where my job is. So you do have to be careful,
Mm.
but it's not I would call it a smooth ride. It's not real hard to where you're coming home and you can't do anything. So it's more laid back
Right.
than anything. You just have to be more careful. So man,
Right.
I dig it, man, and my boss and everybody there, man, they're real good people, man. So
Yeah.
when you surround yourself around good people and a good boss, man, things you know they tend to go more
Right.
smoothly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know, I enjoy the job, man, and I don't know, you know, I may try to get my boss's job when he retire. He'll probably retire here in the next year or so.
Right.
So he's trying to put some bugs in my ear. You know what I mean? So
Right.
but I haven't decided yet. But as far as now, man, I'm doing pretty good. You know, I thank
Right.
the city of Springfield for hiring me, man, because a lot of jobs, man, a lot of people don't like where they're at. You know, a
Right.
lot of people dread to go to work. You know,
Right.
me, I love going to work, you know, to be because I mean, we're there 8 hours.
Yeah.
So it's like a family now. You know, I see them just as much as I see my own family. So
Yeah.
when you have that bond, man, it goes a lot smooth.
And I noticed that you mentioned that your boss kind of played like a mentor position for you,
Yes.
you know, taking you on the wing now. But growing up though, like, did you have a mentor growing up, or would you have benefited more if you did have one?
Yeah, I had a couple of mentors. I had about three. I have one of my uncles who's he just passed a couple of years ago, named Jerry Wayne,
Okay.
and he mentored me. He was a singer, so
Okay.
I love that, you know. And I used to listen to him sing at different bars and stuff, and he got me into singing. So that's another way, you know, that he mentored me. And I have an older uncle named Charles West. And when we was coming up, being a single parent, you know, we had to live with them for a while
Right. Right. Right.
until we got back on our feet.
Right.
And you know, he took us in you know, he took our whole family and me, my mom, and my sister. And he already had 8 with him.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
he was a mentor. Just seeing him get out and work and provide every day, you know, for his family, man. It inspired me to, hey, man, you know, when you have a family, you know, you do what you got to do to take care of your family, no matter how hard it gets.
Yeah.
You know, and he was working in tobacco, you know, and he was out there in the fields, you know, and I saw how he took an interest in his kids to work hard too.
Yeah.
So he was another mentor. And my last mentor was a guy named Ron Johnson. He helped me spiritually,
Okay.
you know, Bible wise and such. So all of these, man, all of these guys coming up played a big part in me. Now, you know, of course, my mom played the biggest part. I'll say that, being a single mom,
Yeah.
you know, providing for us when, you know, she didn't have nothing. I'm sure she had to substitute a lot of things to help me and Kim. So she's my biggest, you know, person that I look up to
Right. Right.
because I know she worked hard. You know, I saw that. You know, and she had asthma and all of this, but
Yeah.
you know, bills don't stop. you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she kept going.
yeah. And with that, and you're right. And a lot of people probably identified that, with the single mother, growing up in that aspect. And you do ask yourself, as a young black man, like, it was certain things that you had to, kind of learn on your own, without mom being present.
That's right.
I kind of wonder, was there any, anything, was there any one thing that sticks to mind that you think that you wish someone had told you earlier, that you didn't learn till later on in life?
I wish that someone would have told me the process of saving money, the process of, like 401k, the
Mhm.
process of sticking actual to a job,
Yeah,
and putting your money back, getting your credit up. See, when I was coming up, I didn't know any of this.
yeah,
We didn't have a lot of money to do it, so it
right,
really wasn't a first thing priority for me because I didn't know. But as I
right.
got older and tried to venture out,
Mhm.
I had a bunch of stumbling blocks because of things I did and I didn't know. I thought I was doing it right,
Right.
but when it came to credit, having your money stacked up, I
Yeah,
had some money,
yeah,
but it wasn't like what I thought. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
once they told me this and that, I was like, man, life is hard.
yeah,
So I wish that someone would have came and set me down and showed me the way of, hey, this is how you save your money.
yeah,
This is what 4K is,
right,
401k.
yeah,
This is how you do this. This is how you put your money back.
right,
Then you know what I mean, and kind of put me back into place because as when you're young,
mm,
you don't really think about that. You're more into partying, having fun with your friends and all.
right,
But you can do both. And I wish I had known that. Not now. Don't get me wrong. I'm thankful for what I got.
right, right,
I'm
right, right,
thankful
right,
for everything that I went through to get here.
right,
Some tough times, more good than bad though. So I'm happy
mm,
about what I went through. It's just I wish I had known back then. I don't have no grudges, or I don't look back and be like, man, I could have had this
right,
all sold up, but
right,
because it's not like that. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
chose a different path, and that's what I ran with. So I'm happy with what I got, man. But now that I'm older and I understand more,
right,
I go out and I try to help these other young cats to
right,
not be, don't, because stumbling blocks is going, whether you're rich, whether you're not rich or got your stuff together, man,
right,
you're going to hit stumbling blocks,
mm,
so you got to learn, you got to be strong enough, to understand that you can get over them, especially
mm,
being a black, child,
right,
because it's a lot of things going on out there. You still got racism. You still,
mm,
cops killing.
mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, it's not that we got it bad. It's
mm,
just it's harder for us.
right, right,
So when you work at a job or whatever you do, you got to
mm,
work 5 times as hard to get the
right,
recognition, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
So, that's what I strive to try to tell these guys. As you're being black or trying to come up, you got to take the steps, man, and you got to understand just because it's a stumbling block, don't give up, and that's what a lot of these kids do.
yeah,
They coming from places that I can only imagine.
yeah,
Like I said, I coach football, so I see a lot of these kids, man, and I thought I had it bad when
yeah,
actually I had it real good
yeah, yeah,
compared to what they have. So I try to get these guys on track because they don't have nobody else. I'm like you, man.
mm,
Some of these, you can't get out.
right,
You can't do this. You can't do that. So 9 times out of 10, you're on that game.
yeah, yeah,
You're listening to this or on that phone.
yeah,
So a lot of these kids, they don't get out, man.
mm,
They give it the wrong crowd, whether it's out and about or whether it's on the phone. You
right,
can, so, I try to put a bug in their ear and
mm,
let them know, it's more to it than this. I know it's hard,
right,
but, you stay strong because honestly, I think we're some of the strongest people on earth,
right, right,
just by what we go through.
yeah, yeah,
I treat everybody, 100. I don't look at faces.
right,
I don't look at skin color. I don't look at none of that.
right, right,
And I help everybody 100%.
right, right,
But the fact is, it's just the places that I coach at or go to is mostly black.
yeah, yeah,
If it was white, I would do the exact same thing.
right, right,
But these black kids coming out the projects, nothing to eat. Shootings every day. Killings every day. When you're around that 24/7, that's just what you think. So
yeah,
I try to split their mind of like, hey man, yeah, this is going on, but there's more, there's more to see, over the sunset. So,
Yeah.
so that's how I try to get to these young guys.
And so with that mindset, I noticed you harped on strength, right? So that's like it seems as though that's a great characteristic for the kids to develop, But I wonder, like, what are some you know, unfavorable characteristics that you might think like some, and when I say that, I mean that, like, what are some traits and some personality again traits that you believe are bad, are not necessarily helpful characteristics?
Um, you know, sometimes it could be good, sometimes it can be bad.
Mm,
But when you see kids and their characteristic is, um, I want to listen to everything you got to say. You know what I'm
okay.
saying? Everything that I tell them,
Right.
they're going to believe. Don't
Right.
get me wrong, that's good.
Right.
But I also, don't have that characteristic where you listen to everything I say,
Yeah.
but you don't go and you don't check on it and read up on it yourself.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can tell you all day, yeah, you can do it. You,
Yeah.
you you can make it,
Yeah.
but when they go home, I'm not there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
don't just say, he said I can make it, I can make it. Yeah, but you got to put in the effort. Don't take that characteristic as he said I can do it, I can do it. No, you have to act on it and you have to do it. That's one thing that I hope, that I get through to these kids. Yeah, I'm talking to you, and yeah, I'm trying to steer you the right way. But also check it. Just don't believe me. Believe in yourself. I can tell you that all day. But
Yeah.
don't have that characteristic where I believe whatever he say because, he's our coach and he's a nice guy, but show me, you know what I mean? Or better yet, show yourself. Don't just believe everything I say. Because then you're gonna find somebody that's gonna tell you the exact same thing that's not really in your favor. They
Right.
just kept throwing some stuff at you, and you believe it right off the bat. And then when you get stomped on it, there you are. So do your background, man. Have some sense about it. And I know these are young kids. I'm not asking them to be, you know, geniuses. I'm just asking them to always, always, always have a backup plan to back up your backup plan.
Right.
Read, man. Understand what I'm saying. Just don't say it because you hear me. Read up on it.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I think a lot of kids get misguided at. So
Yeah, yeah, and I like that because, like you say, you're basically advising them to not be so gullible.
right, exactly,
Don't take anything at face value, and
exactly.
just do your own research, and that's basically what you kind of learn in school, right? School is
That's
basically
right.
designed to teach you how to teach yourself how to learn, right? That's
That's
basically
right.
what the confines, what it means, what it do. And so with that, I do wonder though, like what advice, I know that you mentioned that you coach. So of course, I kind of wanted to know what advice are you giving these kids, or would you want to give these kids, they're thinking that, they're going to go pro, they're going to be an athlete. I understand you mentioned, have a backup plan for your backup plan, you know what I mean? So, but what else what else would you tell them, if they think they're going to go pro?
Mostly, man, what I tell them is you have the ability. You have the ability to do whatever you want to.
Hmm.
But the statistics of going to the NFL is 1 in 5,000.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So, 1 in 5,000 kids who are real good kids
Right, right.
don't make it, man.
Hmm.
So I tried to tell them that you can be anything you want to be,
Hmm.
but also understand, don't make this your number one priority
Hmm.
before you get your education.
Right.
I stress that, 100%. Get your education first,
Hmm.
because your education is going to be with you long after football.
Yeah.
And if you are good enough to make it,
Hmm.
then when you get there, you won't be like a lot of these other football players.
Hmm.
They go in, they make all these millions, but by the time they retire, they're broke.
Yeah.
So that education works hand in hand with football. You go in there, you get your lesson, you
Right.
learn, you play football, you get your money, and now where it goes all the way back to your characteristic, don't be so gullible.
Right.
You done read up on everything you need to do. So you already know how to, like I said before, I wish I had to learn how to save money and all of this. So all of that comes in. So when you're older, you already have that embedded in you. So you're going to read, you're going to know how to spend your money. So when you do retire, you're good, but my main thing with the kids is school, and a lot of coaches, we bump heads a lot of times
Right.
with some programs I've been at because these coaches are more worried about winning a championship than teaching these boys how to play football.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like I told them, man, we're their mentor, pretty much.
That's it.
You know what I mean? So, don't just go off of what you see that they can do. When we play football, man, when we coach football, this is coaching football. I make sure my guys are prepared. I make sure my guys' schoolwork is done. I talk to the parents.
Right.
And you gotta be like that because if you get these kids out here who's playing hard, don't do no schoolwork, then they're going to fail, man, because they think their athleticism is going to get them wherever they need to be, and it just doesn't happen anymore. Maybe 20 years ago when you can kind of fly by college and because you're so good and all that now,
Yeah.
you can't do it, man. You know what I'm saying? So, I try to embed that in them, man, and hey, you don't get your lesson. You're not here on time. You don't dress right.
Yeah.
That's how I do it because I know that's going to help them on down the road, whether they play football or not.
Right.
And a lot of the coaches, I won't say a lot, but a few of them bump heads because they're more or less, they got parents and, let them take care of them. I said, I'm not taking care of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just teaching them right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I said, because I want this guy, if we're coaching some guys that are 7, 8, all the way to 11, 12, and then they go to college and they remember me,
Right.
you see what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't get no better than that. That's my championship.
Right. Right.
Because once you win the championship, tomorrow you'll forget about it, especially at 7, 8, 10, and 11.
Yeah.
You're happy you got it, but that next day, it's on to the next thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try to go a little further than that. I want you to think of me after football.
Right.
And
Right.
I've had a lot of guys who I've coached who went to college and still play football to today.
Right.
Come back and shake my hand, man. Little stuff like that is
Yeah.
what I thrive for. I don't thrive for the championship game because you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. That's just the way it is.
Right. Right.
But you always gain a friendship forever. Because kids, they remember a lot more than what we give them credit for. They remember who was there, and they remember who wasn't there, or they remember who was partially there.
Right. Right.
And I want to be that one. Every time I see you, you come up and say hi. As well as my AAU boys in basketball. I've coached them about 10, 12 years now, and they still come by the house.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, coach? That's my pleasure on it, man, because I know that I embedded something in them for them to even come to my house and knock on the door. To me, that's a blessing. That lets me know I did something right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
And with that, like I said, you giving these kids advice and you're helping steer them, and it makes me wonder about yourself. Like when you were younger, did you take heed to advice, or was it kind of hard for you to take easy advice or take advice from people, and what
yeah,
was
man,
your-
I was kind of hard headed, man. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I was kind of hard headed up to about 15, 16. I mean, I wasn't no bad kid. I didn't get in no trouble like that. It's just people did try to teach me some things, but I was more interested in some other stuff.
Okay.
They really tried to show me some different things. Work harder, or clean your room type of stuff. You know what I mean? And mow the yard. But with no dad, I did. Coming up at 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
I ain't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
My sister knew more about it than I did, and I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But as I wish that I did have my dad in my life as far as showing me things. He was there. Don't get me wrong.
Right. 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 Right.
But as far as showing me stuff, my uncles did most of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
love my dad to death. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
And he showed me some things. But as far as growing up and being there on a constant basis, or better yet, whenever I called them, whenever I needed them, they was there. So I wish I had to listen
Right.
to that a little bit harder. Yeah,
Right. And I only ask that because uh, the thing about when you're giving advice, right, it kind of only works if the other person is kind of listening, right?
right.
And so I do wonder, about how do you advise a young black man to handle criticism, you know?
You know, and we get a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell kids, and they don't. A lot of them don't understand it
Mm-hmm.
until they get older. They'll come and tell me that they understood what I'm saying.
Right.
Sometimes you have to bite your tongue, man.
Mm.
Sometimes you got to bite that tongue because some words that you say from either part you can't take back.
Mm-hmm.
You can forgive.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, "Hey, we're good," but you'll never forget.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody criticizes you or somebody says something, man, that you don't like, there's more ways to react than to get mad or want to fight or want to cuss or want to get back.
Right.
And what a lot of kids do is when they have a disagreement or somebody has said something
Mm-hmm.
and they talk about it or try to talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
us as black men, what they do is they listen
Mm-hmm.
for a comeback. They
Okay.
don't listen
Yeah.
to take it in and ask them a question. Why they're listening so that
Right.
they can make a comeback to a little smarter comeback.
Right.
You
Right.
know what
Right.
I'm saying? They don't listen to compromise. They
Right.
listen to snap back. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to get them. You don't have to snap back to get your point across. I said
Mm-hmm.
you can talk like just like I'm talking now and get your point across just as easy as if you was to yell. Because if you start yelling and cussing, ain't nobody gonna hear you.
Yeah.
And uh, you have to just be calm. Yeah, some things is hard to. I get it. I'm not here saying that. I haven't been through it, but I've learned that you have to bite your tongue sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have a smart comment on everything.
Right.
Sometimes, if you can do it intelligently, you do it intelligently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because what I found out is if you do it more intelligently, and you let them know that your background and you're smart about what you're talking about and you know what you're talking about, they tend to take you more serious
Right.
than for you to go out and do all this cussing. Once you start doing all this cussing and yelling and screaming and out, they just gonna look at you like, well, another typical black guy. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you go to them like you got some sense,
Mm-hmm.
like you got some knowledge. You can get your point across, and it'll stick a little bit harder than it is would be cussing or whatever it is.
Right.
Need be. So
And so,
bite your tongue sometimes. Be smart about things.
yeah, and with that, like it seems like you say, like once you once you cross a certain threshold, the level of respect kind of goes out the window, right? What I mean, and so with that, you ask yourself, okay, well, here you got an adult or someone in a mentor type position, and they're giving advice which sounds like criticism to a young man, right?
Right.
So, the question is how is there how is respect lost from either side, right? So like the idea about respect is you treat others the way you want to be treated, right?
Right.
So the idea is well these kids, man, it seems as though what I'm hearing is that it's a lack of respect when it comes to the communication between the elders and the youth, right? And so I wonder, why do you think that is, if that is, in fact, a true statement?
Yeah. You know, with me coaching a lot of kids, what I see is, and it's gonna probably surprise you, but honestly, 95% of it is not the kids.
Okay.
It's how these grown-ups or how these coaches approach these kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is my motto. You treat every kid you have different, but you treat them the same. If that makes any sense.
Okay.
Some kids, they're not real good at criticism because they're getting criticized at home.
Right.
Then you have some that are good at constructive criticism.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when you go to a kid and you want to give them a little bit of information and you see that he's not taking the criticism right, he's starting to get mad or he's starting to, pout or whatever. You got to step back and let him know, this is why I'm saying this. You got to throw positive in with it, because if you keep, hey man, you gotta hit that block, man. I mean, you missing it. You big, you should be able to block.
Yeah.
First thing he gonna say, dang man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing the best I can. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you go to him and say, hey man, look, you need to make that block. I know you can do it. I've seen you do it.
Right.
You good enough to do it. Now he's listening because now he's got that positive. But a lot of these coaches coming here, this is how you got to talk to them. They from the project, so they don't really, this is how they react. They react harder when you talk like it. Right. And I was like, man, I don't do that. Yeah. So I don't talk to these kids that way because for one, they're kids.
Right.
And for two, you know what I'm saying, from my experiences, they listen a lot better.
Right.
Even with this last group I had, these kids, man, they clinch on to you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, they may get mad at some things you say.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you throw that positive and let them know why you said it,
yeah,
they tend to listen more and they tend to understand. You don't have to criticize somebody all the time. Right. Give them a little positive. Give them something to fight for. Right. And when that criticism strength that they have gets stronger, then you can, raise your voice, make that lick or something like that. Yeah. And they'll understand them because now the criticism, they so, strong in criticism.
Right.
And knowing that you just want the best for them.
Right.
Then they're going to run through a brick wall for you.
Yeah.
So, but these coaches, man, they just, they just down the kid all the time or, you want to play or you don't want to play, 24/7. You got to keep pumping these kids up, man. You got to be positive with them.
And that's kind of why I brought it up because it seems as though, like you say, if you got that kid that's kind of got that chip on the shoulder, like you said, like you mentioned, he's been criticized at home and he, wherever he goes, every older person want to, talk about how he dressed, talk bad, how he talk, how they not so positive about his future. Then he runs into that police officer, right? Yeah. And so I wonder, since we both know you mentioned earlier that tensions are high right now. Black people and police officers don't have the best relationship, and so you got this kid that we described earlier, and now he's run into that situation. He's 15, 16, and he's getting detained by a police officer or getting questioned by a police officer, just stopped in general. How do you advise him to handle that interaction?
With kids nowadays and with cops, I don't down cops. I do believe that a couple of bad apples spoils a bunch.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't never disrespect the police, but but there's a thin line, man. Yes, the young man is 16 and he's going to have some aggression.
Yeah.
It's just in him. If it's just in him. But on the other side, these cops got to understand, these kids are just kids. You don't need to pull guns. You don't need to do all of this. There's 25,000 different ways you can go about handling the situation. Right. Bring them a couple other cops. Yeah. And, it's just, people think, especially young black kids,
right,
they don't like police just because of what they see on the news. Right. People getting killed for nothing. I get it. Right. So, and the cop come up to you and tell you this and tell you that. After a while, his fuse is already halfway lit.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then the cop may say something, and there you go. It can get out of hand, man, just like that. Yeah. So I tell a kid, first of all, and it may step on a couple of toes, but I try to tell a lot of people, a lot of kids, try your best not to get in that predicament.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Don't get into the predicament to where it could go wrong. Right. And don't get me wrong, I know some hadn't done nothing.
Right.
And suffer the ultimate price. I get it. Yeah. But do not get yourself in that predicament to where, things can go wrong fast, because now they're shooting and asking questions later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may be pissed off, or yeah, you may be mad as hell,
Hmm.
but you're still here. You
Right.
know, they tell you to get on the ground, get on the ground. Put your hands behind your back, put them back. You fight that later.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
go and you do whatever you got to do after the fact.
Yeah.
But now, all this fighting and swinging and all that. I mean, we already seen what it could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I try to tell these kids, hey, do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You pray about it first of all.
Right.
Hopefully you never get in that predicament. But if you do get in that predicament, do all you can.
Yeah.
That's all you can do, man. Because I'm gonna tell you now, fighting the cops and all that just not gonna work.
Yeah.
It's just it's just gonna be bad for you either way. Not
Yeah.
saying that they're gonna shoot or not saying or whatever, but either
Right.
way you're going to jail or worse.
Right.
So do what you can, man, and you got that chip on your shoulder. That's what goes back to holding your tongue.
Yeah.
That's what goes back to being intelligent. That's what goes back to reading and understanding your rights.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when you talk like you got some sense,
Mhm.
as to help you way more than what you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And you mentioned about that. You said that the police, that these they got to understand that these are kids, right? And but it seems as though like the stigma with black kids is that we grow up faster. We're more mature. Whatever they want to say, they to hype it up. It's
yeah,
still BS. But whatever the reason is, the world seems to look at us as like we're supposed to be the enlightened ones at a younger age, right? So I wonder, in your opinion, like when is a kid grown? Like what makes them grown and no longer a
yeah.
kid?
There's to me, it's different ratios on that
Mm.
because if you're a young black man and you don't have a father,
Yeah,
you have to grow up kind of fast.
yeah,
Now I'm not saying, when I say grow up, I mean you have to do a lot of stuff at a certain age
right,
that you shouldn't have to do. But you're the man of the house, or you have to take on those manly responsibilities because there's no man there.
right,
So in that aspect, yeah, we do grow up. A lot of us black guys do got to grow up fast,
right.
but we still kids. I don't care what you have to do at 15, 16, 12.
Mm.
Yeah, you have to take on a bigger role, but you're still a kid. You're just doing, you know, grown man shit. If excuse me for saying it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what you're doing.
yeah,
So you are doing grown man stuff.
yeah.
But yet still, I don't care if you're 15, 16, 6, 7,
Mm.
300 pounds, it don't matter. You're still a kid, man. So when they hype it up that, you're bigger than what you're supposed, it don't make no difference. You're still a kid at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah,
You see what I'm saying? You catch a 25-pound catfish, you catch a 2-pound catfish, they both catfish
yeah, yeah,
at the end of the day. You see what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
it doesn't matter if we grow or whatever. We still have to go through the process of being a baby to a teenager to a kid to a
Right,
grown up. We shouldn't have to be a baby and everybody else think we're grown when we're only 13, 14.
right, right,
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
give them that sensibility that they can grow up. That they are kids and you can grow up. Right now, you are a kid.
Right.
You shouldn't have to treat a kid like a 25-year-old.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Or a 25-year-old like a 15-year-old kid. There's standards
Yeah,
that you have to do. And if the police have to go to more training or whatever to do it, do it.
yeah,
Isn't that what it's all about?
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, if if you're here to protect and serve,
Mm.
protect and serve.
Right. And that's what I said.
Where it
I'm
is.
not. I'm not necessarily. Put it like this: this platform is not necessarily to speak about the police and how they need to do their reforms. You know what I mean? But it's more of so like the advice you give is that we just want to give these nephews some tools, the thought process.
Right.
Because they need to know how serious it is out here and how they are being looked upon and preyed upon in certain
That's right.
instances. But
That's right.
I do ask. I'm kind of curious about what your advice would be with them and how they navigate within their own circles, like their own community. Like how do they know who's good for them, who's bad for them, as far as like friendships and things of that nature.
You know, as you get when you're young, man, you have friends.
Yeah.
Once you hit the teenage years, you have some friends and you have a lot of foes. That's when it starts to unfold.
Yeah.
You know, when you're 9, 10, 11, y'all are just having a good time. You know, there's no backstabbing. You don't hear no 10, 11, 12-year-old kids, going behind each other's back doing this kind of stuff. But when you get to 16, 17, 18,
Right.
then here's where you have to be careful. Because the ones that you used to hang around with change.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That 12-year-old ain't 12 no more. He's 18.
Yeah.
So, his thought process is different. Now, I'm not saying that you're in the good and he's not.
No.
I'm just saying when you have your friendships or when you have friends, all you got to do is watch them.
Yeah.
It's gonna come to the surface regardless if he's good enough for you. It's not, you can't hide that.
Right,
You just and then you gotta use some common sense.
Okay.
It's just common sense. If he's doing drugs or if he's with the wrong people who's doing drugs, well, there it is. I mean, it's not, and people say, oh, well, peer pressure, man, is a mug. He telling me to do this over here. He's telling me to do this over here.
Yeah.
All right, then that's true. But you're a man, 16, 17, as far as, doing the right thing is basically what I'm saying. When you're old enough to make those right decisions,
Right.
a lot of people try to peer pressure me, drugs, weed, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But I'd already took over, my own body because I don't let nobody talk me into something that I don't want to do. It just don't happen. Right. So and I get it. You feel like you kind of the outside crowd because so many people are doing it, or so many people are with him, or he's got friends, or he's got the best clothes, or stuff like that.
Right.
But I like about, and this goes back to me being raised by my mama, being raised with my uncles and all, and aunties helping me out.
Right.
I appreciate it because I'm glad I was raised up with not a lot of money.
Right.
We wasn't poor to where we wasn't eating, but it was slim cookings. You know what I mean?
Right.
So so I'm happy. I'm happy about that because it showed me that clothes don't mean nothing.
Right.
As far as the best designer clothes, the best designer shoes. So at a young age, I felt like if you're gonna be my friend, you would have been my friend, regardless if I had anything or if I had the best of clothes.
Yeah.
And if if you can't hang with me because of that, or because you want to hang with the bigger crowd, then that's where you have to consider yourself not a friend. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait until everybody's gone and then want to holler at me. Hey buddy, what's going on? You boy, you show. But then you get with your friends, then all of a sudden I'm an outcast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
be with me, say what's up with me the same way you would if they was around or if they wasn't around.
Right. No, I get it.
That's how I see it. So you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
A lot of kids died because of that, hanging around or being peer pressured or selling drugs because they thought that was the thing. And it goes all the way back to these raps.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It goes always back to, and it's sad to say, but it goes all the way back to these parents too. These parents, man, they, I don't know, man. To me, it's almost like kids having kids. They don't know how to treat kids anymore. It's just, you've done heard so many of people leaving babies in cars and back in the day, that just did not happen.
No.
As far as, people dying and stuff like that, people just don't care no more, man. And I'm glad I was brought up to, with love and everything. So,
Yeah.
you just got to watch it, man. The world ain't gonna give you nothing, and that's what I try to put in these kids. Man, the world don't give you nothing. You got to go out there and get it. You want respect, you got to give it too. You can't ask for respect and you're not giving it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to listen. And these young kids, what I leave with them, you got to listen. Don't think that you know everything because you don't. You know what I mean? Sometimes. Like you said, criticism, I like to call it constructive criticism because I'm trying to build you up so that you can be strong when criticism hits you.
Right.
And that's why I try to get into these boards. Listen for a change. That's why I love listening to old school people
Right.
because
Right.
to me they have the best knowledge. It goes back to our uncles.
Right. Right.
You know,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? They tell us this and they'll tell us that, and we laugh it off. But as I got older,
Yeah.
I understood what he said.
Yeah.
You might not understand now, but after a time, you kind of be like, man, he was right. You know what I mean? So that's how I took it, man. And I try to get these young boys to listen and take notes, man, and then go back and read some more and get on it. So.
Yeah. That's what's up.
You know me, man. Yeah, that's how I do it.
Well, bro, hey, I appreciate you, man, coming on the show, man, dropping these jewels. Like I said, I kind of went on my time a little bit, but you had great content. I didn't want to interrupt.
All good, man. It's all good.
But I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't able to get through my questions. So hopefully in a few weeks I can invite you back when you feel comfortable to come back.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just let me know when, man. I'll be here, man.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That way we keep the conversation going.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I do want to give you a little time though. Like, is there anything else you wanted to give? Any other advice you wanted to leave right quick before we sign off? You know what I mean? You got that opportunity, bro.
Well, for the nephews out there, man, I want to say just man, be strong. Because that's what it's going to take. Be strong. Trust in God. And trust in yourself. Don't let nobody tell you can't do this or you can't do that. You can do anything you want to, but I will say you have to work hard at it. You can't just say you're gonna be all this and you're not gonna put it into action. Yeah. You got to have wisdom and you got to have knowledge. That's the main things you got to have, because knowledge is when you know something, and wisdom is when you act on it. So when you put those two together, you can make something happen. You can be anything you want to be. So that's my message to them, man. And I hope this reaches out to somebody. If I can save one, man, we good. We good.
Right about that. You're right about that. All right, Uncle Jack. Well, we're gonna go ahead and sign off, bro. And like I said, till the next time. Much love and much blessings and thanks.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. Hey, just anytime, man. I like doing this kind of stuff, man. This real right here. It's all good. I'm finna eat some chicken now and go to bed. So,
all right, well,
all right, man. Good to see you. Hi,